boys and girls. I'm Mrs. Kirk, and I teach second grade here. Today I'm going to read chapters 30 through 35. Chapter 30, Real Dogs Only. The best days at Dogtown were Reading Buddy days. The Reading Buddy program was designed to help human children get more confident with their reading. But for us, it was much more. Like I said, most of us Dogtowners got very little cuddling. There were too many dogs and too much for the volunteers to do. But on Reading Buddy days, we got visits from the cutest kids around. We sat in their laps, nuzzled their knees, and listened while books with bright, beautiful pictures were read to us. Even the grouchiest of dogs in Dogtown wagged his tail on Reading Buddy days. Mouse loved Reading Buddies as much as we did. He had dozens of hiding places by the book baskets on Reading Buddy Row, and he had a favorite book called Charlotte's Web. That's how Mouse learned to read, as a matter of fact. Metal Dogs got to be Reading Buddies too, but few kids wanted to cuddle with a machine or curl up next to an electrical outlet. Kids loved hanging out with real dogs. The parents loved seeing photos of their kids reading to a dog, and management loved taking pictures for the website. Win-win for everyone. And once in a while, a dog got adopted by her reading buddy. It had happened enough times to get a dog's hopes up, even a dog like mine. Chapter 31, Reading Buddy Row. Reading Buddy Row had spacious pens with good AC in the summer and central heat in the winter. It was the nicest section in Dogtown. Every dog wanted to be there, but earning a spot on Reading Buddy Row wasn't easy. Dancing, prancing, howling, growling, or sleeping during story time were all no-nos. Dogs like Buster couldn't sit still. They wanted to play ball, ball, ball. Other dogs were kicked out for snoring, growling at the villains, or covering their ears and eyes during the scary parts. The kids understood what we were doing, but the grown-ups did not. Geraldine and I liked to bark to warn the heroes where the villains were hiding. We weren't exactly booted out of Reading Buddies, but we weren't asked back either. Metal Dogs didn't have these problems. Metal Dogs sat like fence posts while the kids read to them. Chapter 32, Quinn. Mr. Molinari was our favorite teacher. He had a biscuit for every dog and a kind word for every student. He understood Reading Buddies really well, so almost all of the kids in Mr. Molinari's class found a reading buddy right away. Often they picked a Jack Russell Terrier named Bear. Bear had an earnest listening expression, ears perked, eyes wide, tail wagging. The kids adored him. I watched Bear to see how it was done, but I couldn't get the hang of it. The big dogs were also good reading buddies. Some of them, anyway. Get a couple of Newfies and a Mastiff in there, and you needed a gas mask. You know what I'm saying. Anywho, there was this one kid, Quinn, who couldn't find a book to read or a dog to read to. Quinn had hair combed in a direction hair was not meant to go, and glasses that sat crooked on his head. His left shoe was generally untied, and he wore the same shirt every time we saw him. It had a picture of a star on it. Quinn would go up and down Reading Buddy Row searching for a dog. Then he'd take every book in every basket, searching for a story. But he couldn't find neither. By the end of the hour, he'd be sitting in a corner all by himself. Since I was still hopeful management would give me another try at Reading Buddies, I hopped over to him gave him a good sniff. He smelled terrific, like buttered toast with a touch of toothpaste. A smell like that, and you'll go far in life. I took an immediate liking to him, so I dug through the book basket until I found a book about toast. I dragged it over to him, then settled back to hear the story. But Quinn didn't touch the book. This was not the one. Then I got another brainstorm. Quinn's shirt had a star on it. I hopped to every basket until I found a book on the solar system. Yeah, I had it now. I'm so clever sometimes. But Quinn had no more interest in the book about the solar system than he had in the book about toast. Clearly, it was time to deploy my secret weapon. Chapter 33, The Three-Legged Show. I did my act. The triple-pawed juggle. The hugga and snuggle. A dog plays dead. A ball on my head. And a one-pawed spin just for Quinn. But I was wasting my time. Quinn couldn't have cared less. About then, management stepped in. Someone from the local newspaper had shown up, and there was Quinn sitting all by himself. It was a public relations disaster. Management walked Quinn past all the available dogs, but Quinn had no use for any of them. When Mr. Molinari saw what was going on, he said, "Leave Quinn be. He'll figure it out." Chapter 34, Buttered Toast and Toothpaste. Quinn didn't figure it out. Week after week, he roamed from one end of the main building to the other. I kept an eye on him. It had been a long time since I'd gotten a whiff of buttered toast. And buttered toast with toothpaste? You couldn't get better than that. I wanted Quinn to like me. I wanted him to pick me. So I tried to figure out what was going on with him. There were kids who didn't like reading buddies because they didn't like dogs, or our books were too easy, or they didn't get enough recess that day. But Quinn wasn't like any of those other kids. Quinn was searching for something. I just didn't know what. Chapter 35, Wandering. Then one day, Quinn's wandering took him down to the basement. Buster saw him first. He wagged his tail so hard it banged the pen. Two Scotties named Phil and Lil fell all over each other in a frenzy of excitement. Bill the Beagle whipped around in circles. Shag the Sheepdog jumped up, banging his big paws on the fence, which sent great clouds of white hair drifting like snow to the ground. Quinn walked by all of them. But then, at cage 92, he slowed down. Metalhead? Metalhead didn't wag his tail. He didn't stick his nose through the fence or dance on his hind legs. He didn't even look up. Quinn stared at him, rocking from foot to foot. Then he sat down. All he needed was a book. The problem was reading buddies didn't go to the basement, so there weren't any book baskets in there. For me to go all the way up to the main building, grab a book between my teeth, and hop back down to the basement would take too long. Reading buddies would be over by then.